Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Big Alfie and what do you say? Introduce yourself.
Big Yasser.
Big Yasser,
My
right?
name's
And
Yasser.
today,
My
as you
name's
can
Yasser.
see,
I'm cool.
you're not cool. Shush. So today, as you can see, there is a row of characters at the bottom of the screen. These characters belong to a certain game made by a man called Nankadai, and that game is called Your Turn to Die. And today, we're going to be tier listing the characters in terms of our own personal opinions. We've got to state that because we don't want to get violated by the comments who say their favorite character is the fucking monster that you lose to hide and seek in. So yeah, I'm just gonna say fair warning. There will be spoilers about virtually every single character because me and Yaseen have played through this game several times. There's going to be a lot of things to say about every individual character, and then from that point, we're going to go ahead and probably spoil everything. So play the game because if you don't play the game, I think Yaseen's going to have to tell you what's going to happen. Go on, Yaseen, go on, tell him.
If you don't play the game and you watch this video, right, you're going to miss out on a heavenly gameplay of Your Turn to Die made by Nankadai. And Nankadai is very cool, by the way. So, if you watch this video without playing the game, I will touch your butthole. I'll touch it.
Right, you've had your warning, and now we're going to get straight into the tier list. Okay, so we're going to tier list the characters you've seen. I want you to explain the subliminal meanings behind each tier, starting with the bottom one.
Okay, so die tier. Alright, this has some secret meaning. Basically, I want them to die. Alright. The meh tier. Meh tier, basically, yeah. If we put a character in there, I think they're meh. Okie dokie. If we put them in okie dokie tier, they're very middle. You know what I mean? They're like, we don't hate them. We like them. We don't love them. You know what I'm saying? They're in the middle. It's very nice. Second tier, candidate tier. Candidate means that they're qualified to win, but they haven't won. And then victory tier, pretty self-explanatory. You fatties, bro. They've won. Let's get into this.
All right, so you see, and I'm going to be really nice to you, yeah? You pick out the first character we're going to tier list. You name drop a character.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna drop a character. Yeah, I'm gonna pick. You know, I'm gonna go with the first one. You know, I'll go with Anzu Kanashi.
Okay, so Anzu, one of the dolls, obviously. See on
One of the
fourth,
dolls of chapter 3.
chapter 3. I'm not gonna lie, can potentially be the most irrelevant doll, depending on what happens in the first Obstructor fight.
I think her design could do with a bit of reworking. It could be doing with a reworking. I'm working on English. I'm an immigrant.
Yeah, he's been an Indian since like he was born.
I moved from India to Scotland, and now I'm Irish, Scottish, and English. I'm in the entire spectrum. I'm
Stop,
black, white,
stop
brown.
waffling. I'm not doing another one of these 2-minute rambles that I have to cut out. Alright, so this character can potentially die basically right as you meet her. Before you've even basically learned her name, she gets absolutely battered inside of our box.
She gets
Well,
crushed.
aside.
Alfie, the microphone has detached. Plug it back in.
Alright, so the character has a lot of interesting back and forth with certain characters. Obviously, gets paired with Alice, and that just instantly brings your rank up. I think we can agree.
I think she's like the comic relief. Her design could do with a bit of reworking, and her hairstyle's pretty nice. I'll give her that for her design, but story-wise, she's a bit irrelevant. I don't want her to die. I'd probably put her in Meteor. That's where I'm putting her.
You know, I'll back it because the thing is, her whole purpose in the banquet is to die, so it doesn't matter whether she lives to there or not.
She gets put in a wonky box, therefore she gets chosen. Therefore, there's no way to save her. Okay. Alfie, who are you going to pick next?
I tell you, you know what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick a very relevant character, Mr. Please Die.
Why do you want him to die for?
Well, I don't, but it's like you can't put him on the same tier as Anzu in it.
You can.
No, you can't.
Think of this way, yeah. Without Ginger Policeman, you don't have Keiji Shinogi, and Keiji Shinogi is a very relevant character in the story. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Without him,
yeah, but that's like saying fucking Mr. Chidoin has to be victory tier because he gave birth to Sarah. Well, no, he didn't. To be fair,
no, but you can't put him in die tier though. You know what I mean? Like, do you like die tiers?
Fine, I'll put him in meh then. Fucking hell, but he's below Anzu.
He's in meh.
Your pick.
Die tier is reserved for the worst of the worst. Now, I'm gonna go with. Do you know what? I'm gonna go with Tia Safalin. I think, yeah, she's at least okie dokie because she seems like a nice floor master, assistant floor master, but secretly she wants to mess with your brains. She messed up Sarah in one of the game overs, and I think that's big brain. I think she goes in okie dokie.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? The
Ah.
whole point of die tier is it's a character you want to die, right?
I don't want it to die.
Yeah, but here's the thing. How many times has she snaked people and then gone back on it only to probably snake them again? You know what? I'm gonna go against Ranger to give you little tips when I shouldn't be giving you them. Oh, but also I'm gonna put this chip in Ranger's head that emotionally traumatizes him right as he's dying. You know, I'm gonna help you lot escape and act like I'm conflicted about this. Oh, but I was never your friend. Oh, you know what? I'm also gonna help you get a replica doll of Midori. Oh, but you know what, Kyutara, you're gonna die. Do you see what I
Do you know what?
mean?
Yeah, you raise a fair point. However, I'm pretty sure her job was to be friendly with the thingies. You know what I mean? Like it was meant to be good cop, bad cop. As soon as Ranger was out of the equation,
She was good cop and
it
bad
was
cop.
good cop and bad cop. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's too much back and forth.
So she had her reasons, and also her design. Probably one of the best designs for a floor master.
Well, I mean,
That's
to
why I
be
really
fair, there
like
are
it.
only 5 floor masters.
True, true, true.
Right, so where are you going?
I'm putting her okie dokie. Where do you think she should go?
I would have said Meh, but I'll back it for now.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
next, yeah. You know what? We're gonna start off with a very important character early on. We're gonna talk about Joe.
Oh, Tezuna Joe, bro. Tezuna Joe. Doggy Joe. Alright. I think, right, I think he was very important because he's in the first chapter, first of all. And when he dies, that traumatizes Sarah, making him very important for the second chapter due to the hallucination levels. So I believe, yeah, he can't go in candidate tier because he's just not a candidate. So I probably would go. He's top of Okie Dokie because that's where it makes sense.
Yeah, like during like my own personal playthrough on my own because just to put a bit of context in, I did a playthrough, then I did a playthrough with some of our other friends, then Yaseen joined into it. We did that, and now we're doing another playthrough with another one of our friends, which has taken longer than it has for the third chapter to come out. But even still, he was a very interesting character because he goes from being this like light-hearted guy to all of a sudden being depressed, and then he's the sacrifice. He's dead, but he's not really gone because then he's the hallucination for the next chapter. He comes back at
Exactly.
the end as either makes Sarah forget about him or rectifies the whole situation, helps her become a stronger character, move forward, and all that. And then in the
Evil
third
AI
chapter,
Joe.
he still
Or
managed to get his way there because Ranmaru tries to become him. That's not really
bruh.
anything on him, but it's still
Can
like
we make her on Naruto tier?
we'll get to him later. We'll get to him later. So yeah, you know,
We'll get
I agree with you completely. He just wasn't around long enough to be as good as some other characters.
If he was still alive, bro, he could have done some good shit. You know, he could have done some good stuff.
Yeah, he could if he was alive, he would have lived. Gone.
If he was alive, he would have lived. All right. Okay, let me think. Okay, I'm gonna go with Professor Mishima. Bring him out here. Bring him out. All right. Now, first, no, don't put him in die. I don't want him to die. Okay. So, first chapter, right? He was very great. He was like a role model to Ginebushi, which has been mentioned in the third chapter. Thank you, Mishima. And I believe, yeah, he was the voice of reason some of the times. Like when Kana was like spiraling out of control about her sister's death in the first trial, he tried telling her it wasn't her fault. There was nothing she could have done about it, just to ease her mind a little bit. And then when he dies, yeah, it also kind of gives us something for now. Because if it weren't for Mishima, now would have just been annoying the entire game. You know what I'm saying? I believe, yeah, Mishima goes in, okie dokie. Because he shows up in the second one as an AI and also becomes a problem for Naoya Gokuro. Does that really count for Mishima though? Or if we're talking about his AI in the second chapter? Fonzo, your headphones are ripped out your butthole.
Right, you see. Normally, I would agree. However, the overusage of this guy dying really drags him down for me. So put it this way, right? If you
Yeah,
go into the second chapter, yeah, and you get to the end of it, and it's obviously a so unkind decision, right? Whichever one
yeah,
dies, you know is impactful, right? Like if
yeah,
we look at this list here, Alice's death, very good death, right?
yeah.
Kai's death,
Fucking best.
good death. Nao's
Yeah.
death, brutal death. Reiko's was a bit shit, if I'm being honest. Uh, So's death, good death. Kutaro's death, very good death. But
Exactly.
if we look at wait, who are we talking about? I've lost my train of thought. Mishima. If we're looking
Yeah,
at Mishima's death, right?
yeah,
He dies 4 times. Now here's the thing: many characters in this game, well, not many, several characters in this game happen to die twice, right? Midori,
yeah,
both of his deaths. I mean, the scene where his eye is impaled and he just wakes up is sick.
Yeah.
And as memey as his actual death is in the game because of what you did to it, Yaseen, give him an example.
I give you compromise.
Okay, so yeah, that's how Yaseen reads it, and that is why that part is forever ruined and etched into my memory. Both of his deaths are still good. Both of Alice's deaths are still good. Reiko, yeah, we'll allow
She
her.
gets shanked by herself, or could get hung. It's not really it's not brutal or
Whereas
heartfelt.
Mishima's feels as though every time he dies, it just gets even worse and worse in terms of the deaths. The first one was a very good death. Sets the scene of the game, pushes the pace, makes everybody think, oh shit, this is actually a proper death game. Anyone can die, which was supposed to be in a practice round. Then you move on to the AI where he gets hyped. That was alright, fair enough. Oh, yeah. Now and So did something sick. Wait, what the hell? So's working with someone. Oh my god, now, wow, character development. Because she's learned that she knows the professor better than the game knows the professor. But then you jump to the third chapter, and we have the very big problem of fucking robots on the screens. Why bring him back a third time after there's no point in bringing him back again? They could have used any other person. They could have used Buddy Joe.
There was also a fourth time.
There was a fourth one.
You know, in the second chapter, yeah, before the corrupt AI, there was the
Yeah.
noble AI. Reiko punches
Oh
him in the
yeah,
face.
right.
And
Yeah. So in
he
my
just goes.
opinion, I think top of meh because they overused his death.
You know, I'll allow that. I'll allow that. Top of meh.
He started turning into Buddy Kenny from South Park. Nah, don't be. Nah, you dickhead. Don't be silent.
I'm not a South Park type of guy. I'm not.
Bro, I'm
gonna
gonna have to play fucking cricket noises. All right, fucking hell. Right, next character. You picked Mishima, right?
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'm gonna go with. Let's talk about now.
Now Egokoro or Egokoro.
You wanna go first?
I'll go first. In every single situation, right? She never actually comes up with a decent idea on how to solve the situation at hand. She always goes, Sarah, we have to fucking do something.
Yeah, just
Think
to
of it
preface
now.
this, he does a Scottish voice for now.
Yeah, she's Scottish. Yeah. So I believe, yeah, she doesn't actually contribute to anything, and the only reason she's still in the game is thanks to Mishima. So if you think about it, the second main game, where she's a big problem because she is the sacrifice, but no one knows that yet, is all thanks to Mishima. Mishima kept her alive. Therefore, right, Mishima made her relevant, and she did nothing with it. She didn't come up with anything. She just told us that fucking Kai blackmailed her. And she got Kai killed? She goes and died here.
Hold up. I don't know about die to you, because here's the thing, right? I would say below Anzu and Metia for the sole reason of she is a very nice person, even if she's an idiot. A lot of her conversations in the game revolve around, we need to think of what to do. So do something. I'm not going to help you with that. I'm just going to sit here and tell you that I know we need to do something. But why aren't you doing anything? I'm not risking my clout for you. That's what this comes across as, right?
If I'm being honest, yeah, if I'm going to be fair to Naoi Gokuro, I'd say she's above Anzu only because she brings more to the story. Even though
Okay,
she
yeah,
hardly
I'll give you that. No, to be fair,
Anzu gets
we're going to
crushed
give
in
her
the box.
points because her development was actually good.
True.
Anzu's development is, I became robot, now I became fucking tin can by obstructor. That's her development.
True.
Okay.
Anzu just makes fun of fucking Kurumada's jokes.
Right, yeah, so... right, go on, you pick.
Alright, who am I going to pick? Do you know what, yeah? I'm going to pick Megumi Sasahara. Now, she doesn't bring anything to the story other than she was a corrupt cop, which is why KG's an ex-cop, right? Now, I believe, yeah, that she is a dickhead. However, I think that she doesn't bother me that much because she's a side character. So I'd probably put her in May, but most people put her in die tier. So Alfie, I'd forgive you if you put her in die tier.
Yeah, but keep in mind, with my current profession pursuit, I'm kind of obliged to put her here even more than I was before.
Fair enough.
Plus, yeah, look at that forehead.
No, allow the forehead. She's still nice looking. Stop.
Meters the distance between your eyebrows and your hairline.
If I put a ruler towards her forehead in this tier list, it'd be less than 2 centimeters, bro.
Yeah, but that's not fair. It's not drawn to scale.
Not drawn to scale, but whose fault is that?
The scale's fault.
You,
Right. So, you know what I'm thinking, Yaseen? I say we
Wait.
get a unanimous victory tier out of the way. Would you agree with me?
You know, yeah, go on.
I think we talk about how we both love the character Abyss, Alice Yabusame.
Happy
Shut up.
Sabulame.
Shut up. So, you voiced this character when we do our runs, so I'll let you talk about this one.
Okay, Alice Shawusame is probably one of the best characters in this game. Like literally, when he shows up, yeah, obviously it's a bit weird because he fainted after seeing Sarah Chedouin, and he thought she was shooting up people, even though that was the Russian roulette. But then second chapter, bro. Actually, I'm gonna go back a bit. First chapter, he sees his sister getting ganged up on. They're like, "Yo, who the fuck's Alice Shawusame? Is that you?" And then he has to step up. He's like, "No, I'm Alice Shawusame." He does that to save his sister. Now through the entire game, there's that brother and sister bond. He always protects his sister. He would he'd put himself in the way just to save Reiko Yabaka. My voice is gone. No. Can I start again?
Do you,
Can
do
you
you,
cut this
do you,
out?
no, I'm not cutting it out, but I'll pick up where you left off.
Okay, okay.
It's showing that the
So
entire story between the two of them, yeah, was the whole thing of Rico couldn't forgive Alice for what he apparently did at the time, and everyone thought he did until obviously chapter 3 when Midori came through and goes, "No, you didn't do shit, I just framed you." So the whole thing was, he spends the whole time meeting them two because they both wish to meet each other, and that's how they ended up in the, well, not, they didn't wish to meet each other. It's more like Alice wished to kill Midori and was put in the game to do so, and Reiko happened to want to meet him, so they both ended up there. Following that, they ended up both talking for a bit, and obviously you get the scene with the bongos, where Reiko just absolutely demolishes the well, no, not Reiko, fake Reiko demolishes the bongos, and then Alice's death in that second chapter is probably I don't know, it's either first or second for me. The
I'm
second one's
saying
one we'll
first.
talk about later.
It made me
So
cry, bro. My t-shirt was sucked.
yeah, but the thing is, you don't have t-shirts.
No. Stop slewing my t-shirts, yeah. Fucking when Alex dies, yeah, he's on the floor with a hole in his chest. He's crying, and all he's thinking about is Reiko because he thinks Reiko's dead. You know how mad that is.
And then that
That's
smile,
yeah.
yeah, when she comes out and he's still alive, is just nice.
Oh
And
my
then in
god, it's
the
just wholesome.
yeah, and then you get the third chapter if he lives there. His death in that is the exact same death as Reiko's, but here's the thing: Alice having a significant death in the second chapter and then being alive, you can feel the impact of him being around. In my opinion, Reiko fades into the background a bit in the third chapter, but I'm not going to speak too much about her because obviously she's still left on the tier list. Alice
Yes.
in the third chapter feels a lot more. He just has more personality. He's got more kind of charisma, more presence whenever he says things because of the way that he says things. So when he dies in that, it still has an impact. You can't say a character that you can feel bad for dying twice is a bad character if both the deaths are good.
But I'm still hurt.
I know you're hurt.
Like literally, when we get to the person that caused Alice's death in the third chapter, we're gonna absolutely slate him. He's going in his
No,
own tier.
you are. I'm not as angry as you are about that character.
Bruh.
Right, yeah. So Alice victory tier, very very good character. Probably not my favorite in the game, but he's up there. Yaseen, it probably isn't his favorite either, but he's definitely up there. Is that fair to say?
If I'm going based off of honesty, he probably is my favorite. But if I'm going based off of bias, we'll get to the character that I think is my favorite, even though no one else will agree.
All right. No, I think they will. Right. So, anyways, so Alice victory tier. Yaseen, pick the next one.
Pick the next one. Alright. You know what? I'll go with the real Hinako.
I got this one.
Now, huh?
There we go.
I mean, we could put her there, but we could still talk about her.
Go for it.
Now, there's real Hinako that has black hair, and there's the fake Hinako, which we meet in the third chapter with pink hair. Now, the one with pink hair, absolutely annoying. No matter what we do, yeah, she'll always go, "No, I'm not helping you. Why should I help you?" She's just being a pain in the butthole for no reason. But the real Hinako, the black hair one, she's dying in the first trial, yeah, and it's like one of the only first trials where there's a floor master in there, and she absolutely pisses off Ranger, and it's absolutely sick. Like, obviously, I don't agree with Ranger beating her. What is it, dead body, or is he beating her up while she's
Dying
alive?
body. Probably still.
So she's dying, and Reiko's whipping the crap out of her, yeah? But she pissed him off. I have respect for that Hinako. However, this tier actually kind of makes sense. I don't want it to die, but who are you? You know what I mean? Who
Like
are you?
I'm not gonna lie. You can't even put real Hinako on the same tier as policeman because you see
Like,
policeman
just
for more than 5 seconds. She
true.
just dies.
Like she's so dark. She doesn't have facial features.
She's essentially Anzu if Anzu had to die at the start of the chapter.
Exactly.
So, are we good to move on to another?
We're good to move on. We're good to move on.
I say we get another Floor Master out the way, and I elect Rio Ranger.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So, the thing is about Ranger is the first introduction you get from this guy is a bit all over the place because obviously you see Safalin first, and then he comes out. Because you see Safalin on the monitors, he's behind you like, hello. And then Safalin appears. But regardless, he's a very interesting character because of the personality that he has, or rather personalities, and all the masks that he adopts to fit other dead characters, taunt the living characters, and his backstory with the whole Gashu thing, implementing only negative emotions into him to make him feel things of like inferiority, hatred of humans, all because he himself is never happy with himself, is a very good twist. Obviously, at that point in the game, you don't know how well the game's going to do with twists because the best twist you've had so far is Joe being the sacrifice, which I didn't see, but people have seen. I think that for me showed that how much the game was starting to go in depth with their reasons as to why characters did things. Because chapter 2 as a whole was all about exploring the characters mainly. Like, think about the amount of things KG got in this character, not in this character, in this chapter. KG, now, Alice, even to an extent the Floor Master such as Ranger, because I don't think Safari got really much development other than, oh no, she might be a bit of a snake. Though, then again, I'm a little bit biased, so that's whatever. The character throughout the whole thing just seemed, out of the Floor Masters, in my opinion, probably top two. Because I just thought he was very enjoyable to have on screen compared to, say, Gashu. It's not that I disliked him, but personality-wise, much more interesting. Go on, Yaseen.
With Gashu, is very monotone. That's what I think, anyways. With Rio Ranger, right? Like, I'm gonna go back to Alice on this one. If it wasn't for Rio Ranger, we wouldn't have got Alice's really good death scene, probably one of the best death scenes in the game, which will probably bump Rio Ranger up. But the fact that he killed Alice also bumps him down, so he doesn't move anywhere. Man's immobile. He's in a. I'm not gonna say that.
So with that being said, what tier are you going to put Yaseen?
What tier am I gonna put him in? Well, before I put him in a tier, I like how he wasn't like he. Obviously, with floor masters, they're supposed to know what they're doing, right? They have a certain job to do. I like how he didn't do his job well, and then he gets executed for it. Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
that's good.
I think that makes the story better because it shows that the organization don't have everything in control. I'd put him. I'd probably put him. I'd probably put him above Joe.
Yeah,
I'd probably put him above
I
Joe.
was gonna say the exact same thing. I don't think he'd be candidate tier because again, the amount of time you're around gives us a bit
Yeah,
of bias because say with the third chapter, yeah,
yeah.
Kitaro's death might not be as sick as we're saying it is, but recency bias means that it doesn't matter. His death is sick.
Actually, there's also another thing.
Yeah.
His design, his design kind of broke away from the like, what is it? You know how Sumali was like, what was it?
Like
Chocolate or something.
food, yeah.
Food, yeah. And then Sumali, Tisa Fallin, she's a melon soda. And then Rearranger, he's wearing dead people's clothes and he's holding an ice cream. The ice cream pisses me off. Why is he holding that? I think if he didn't have the ice cream, he'd be fucking victory tier for design.
All right, so I think it's a good idea to move on. I say we get another dummy out the way, and I think
Ooh.
we elect not Gashu. I say we elect Hayasaka for this one.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, yeah. You chose twice in a row, but I forgive you. I'll forgive you.
Oh, it's all right. You can have two picks after.
Okay, okay.
So Hayasaka, I'm gonna be honest, probably the most boring doll. Half of his character comes from Gin. The other
True.
half of his character comes from him working for a group and getting pressured by the organization to research things about the other characters. He's constantly just the guy that either gets beat up or dies to books, which I think that's just ultimate L. So, in my opinion, bottom of Metia, but I'll leave that to you to also clarify on your scene.
If I'm being honest, yeah, I believe he brings more to the story than Anzu Kinashi.
What's
Like,
that?
think of it this way: he's the reason this game's even happening. He's the reason the organization knows about each and every one of the people in the cast.
Well, I'm not
So
gonna
that's
lie.
fun.
With that
Mm.
point, he is the reason. However, do you not think that, say, you replace Hayasaka with any of these characters and they're doing the same job as him, the exact same thing would have happened? it's not so much due to him, it's due to where he was at the time, like right place, wrong time kind of thing.
I mean, true, but he still did it. You get what I'm saying?
Okay,
It's still canon that he's the one that did that.
right.
And also, right, fair like half of his shit comes from Ginibushi, but I kind of like that duo. Ginibushi followed Mishima around because he was the like oldest. He trusted him the most. And then when he saw Hayasaka in a suit, yeah, he saw Mishima and him and decided, I'm with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's somewhat wholesome. Ginabushi went to go save him, and then Hayasaka's like, why did he run in after me? It's
Okay.
just me.
So where are you
I
going to
mean,
put him,
that's
in
not.
your opinion?
I'll put him above Anzu.
You know what, fine.
Above now, not above now. Stop.
Okay, so now it's your picks.
Okay. Now, this is very controversial, I think.
That's only a few characters then.
I'm gonna pick Kana Kizuchi.
Oh no. Do you want me to go first so that I can say the positives before you absolutely just throw through the floor?
Okay, go on.
So, Kana Kazuchi in the first chapter, obviously she's the first character in the game that you see experience major trauma, that being that her sister died in the first trial, fainting, and throughout most of the first chapter she is, as well, apparently So calls her several times later on in the game, a burden. However, her conflict for being one of the two child characters in the game is very real in the sense that a child is not going to be able to come to terms with the death of their own sibling that quickly after it's literally just happened. I feel that as a character, she does go through a lot of things, especially as you progress the chapters. So once you get to the end of chapter one and you find out the effect that So had, whether he knew that she was his sister or not biologically, he still helped her out, and she was in his debt. And she sticks with him, he sticks with her, kind of manipulates her to be fair, but also at the same time kind of does care for her. While she at the same time is the only person that you can rely on for any kind of information about him that is not from him himself. As time goes on and you get to the end of the second main game, she can either die in probably the best part of any of the main games so far, where them two are arguing about the other one dying. Well, that really does depend on how hard the decision was for you, but then you get to the third chapter where she actually does become a somewhat strong character. Though in our initial route we didn't do that one, so that won't be too credible on Yaseen side of things, just to preface this. But in terms of that, showing that she knew these things and eventually being told that he was her brother in the end kind of just brings it full circle as to she came into the game without anyone, and biologically, in terms of family, she's going to leave without any as well. But she'll come out a completely different person. Much worse, but much stronger in the end, thanks to the things that those two did for her. But go on, Yaseen. Prepare yourself.
Now, if I'm being completely honest here, which I obviously will be, it's Kana Kazuchi. I believe, yeah, that they should have stuck with their previous design. I reckon Kuji would have been a lot better as Kana, because think of it this way. Kuji wouldn't have pissed herself. Kuji wouldn't have looked at the keyboard, the fucking laptop, yeah, and gone, I've hacked, I guessed their password. Yeah. Bro, she's so annoying. Her death in the second chapter, if you vote for her, her death is Kana means plant in Japanese, so she grows into a plant. Yeah, wow, round of applause. Fucking So, yeah. So gets shot up by the fucking defenses of the building. You know how sick that is? And then goes and fucking helps Sarah with a helpful joy eye. But if Kana dies, which is a shit death, then So decides to mess up Sarah with an evil joy eye, which screws her over in the fucking next bit. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Kana's brought nothing but poo to the game. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not even canon that she has pudding under her fucking bucket. She just has a bucket. If the pudding was under there, I would have gone. Do you know what? You're not in diet tier. You're in meh. But do you know
So,
what? Yeah, I'm
yeah.
actually considering putting her in Who Even Are You? I don't like her.
No, you can't.
If she had Kuji's design, then everything would have been normal.
Yeah,
But
but
she's
yeah, but
Kana,
you're saying
who's a piss pants.
what
She
tier?
compared her
What
level of
you
hacking.
saying?
No. She compared her level of hacking to So's level of hacking.
Okay.
So literally started hacking into the databases of the organization's building and kind of guessed the password because there was marks on the keyboard. That's not hacking.
Okay, so
I can do that.
where where are you gonna put this character?
Put her in die.
I'm gonna
Her
be
death was
honest.
shit as well.
I was thinking
Wait,
beneath Joe.
the only thing that redeems her death is that is Soul's reaction to her death, which makes Soul better,
Right, I
not
wanna
her.
put in a counter offer here. Why don't
Go
we
on, go
put
on.
Kana above Hayasaka?
I don't know why. I just hate how she looks like a greenhead now, Gokuro from a distance.
Beneath Hayasaka. Alright, your pick.
Thank you. My pick. All right. Bruh, my heart rate's going up. That was fucking. that was stupid. All right. Hmm. You know what? Yeah, I was gonna pick Meister, but we'll save him until after Midori's picked. Uh, I will pick. Yeah, I'll go Pinkhead Hinako. I'll go with Pinkhead Hinako.
You wanna go
I've
first?
already said what I need to say about her, but I can see if I can remember anything
Give
about
it
her.
no, give it a brief summary because it was said earlier.
Okay, so Pinkhead Hinako, she was just a pain in the butthole. Every time we wanted to do something as a group, she'd always come up to me and be like, "Yo, I'm not helping you. My job's to kill you, and I intend to do so. And oh wow, my stabbed Kyutaro, you dickhead, how didn't you kill him?" She's just negative all the time. It's just annoying. It's jarring, bro. Honestly, right? Let me think here. Let me think. If it was Blackhead Hinako, I would have been happy. But obviously, you can't have that because then there's no twist in the banquet. You know what I mean? Give me a second. I need to cough.
Alright, so while Yaseen is coughing up his left lung, I'm gonna say a little bit on my part. Hinako, in my opinion, was just a character that was there to be the kind of so Kurumada throughout the first kind of like three-part A was a little bit kind of hostile, standoffish with y'all, but he also had his moments where he's like, okay, you can understand why this guy's kind of like got any kind of friend in this group whatsoever, even though he's very rough to everybody. But Hinako's just constantly negative, 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 and her major character point is being used by him. That screams volumes. You can't put a character that exists for plot relevance to be used by another character purely to die as a good character. I'm probably going to end up contradicting that at some point, but even still, in my opinion, top of die tier. You seen?
Yes, top of diet tier. Actually, wait a minute. I think I prefer Megumi Sasahara to
No,
her.
cough.
No, I do. I do.
No, she was around for 10 seconds. I'm not having this.
She reminds me of a certain person called Benjamin Fisher. You lot won't know him, but Alfie knows exactly what I'm on about. Does that
All right.
persuade you?
Next character. You know, just to spite you, I'm picking Meister next.
No, don't pick Meister. Choose
No,
him after
no, no,
Midori.
no. I'm picking Meister.
All right. You pick Meister. You pick Meister.
So as of right now, we know very little about Meister aside from the fact that his sprites look eerily similar to a certain other person in this list.
Mr. Turin.
He's interesting in the sense that he's obviously a higher rank than Midori in the game and goes against Midori, despite enforcing the rules then against Eats Up later when he thinks not Kerry, Keiji took Mishima's collar.
Alright, Kerry.
Not too much you know about the guy, but probably about there in my opinion. You saying? What are you saying?
You know what? Yeah. Even though we've seen very little of him, I absolutely respect him as a floor master. He sticks by the rules. You know what I'm saying? And also, right, KG broke the rule, and he's like, "Yep, you're dead. You're dead. I'm coming after you." Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's very reliable in terms of the rules of the death game, and also he's just sick. He's absolutely sick. I bet you anything. When the final chapter gets released, yeah, he's gonna do an absolute madness. He has to. It's the final chapter.
I don't think he'll
He's
do
gonna
that. I
unwrap his
don't think he'll
bandages.
do a better job than Midori, if I'm being honest.
He's gonna unwrap his bandages, and he's gonna be fucking Morgan Freeman. You know how cool that
Oh
would
my
be.
god. So,
I think, yeah. But for now, he goes in the bottom of Met here, but I believe he's destined for victory.
okay, so now it's your pick.
My pick. Let's have a look. All right. Let's go. Let's go Sumali. Let's go Sumali.
Okay, out of the Floor
Now with
Masters,
yeah.
interesting. Sorry, scene. Out of the Floor Masters, very interesting one because it's the first one you meet. She's probably the most just straight up the biggest bitch of all of them, if I'm being honest. But at the same time, she does her job very well. She's there because they've likely done something to her husband, as it were mentioned in Floor 3 when you check the computers, and she ends up being quite cruel comparatively. Like, don't get me wrong, he's cruel, and Ranger is very cruel, right? but she has a certain level of like kind of sadisticness to it that makes it a lot different than theirs. He's never like he's barely ever not smiling, and when he isn't, he's just saying something really serious. And he's always smiling, so her level of it is just completely different. However, out of the Floor Masters, if we're being honest, she doesn't really do much. She appears, gets whacked with a frying pan, says that she's going to get people back, and then torments Sarah when Joe dies. To be fair, that's about the extent of what she does. However, I'm guessing in the last chapter she's going to end up doing something else. You seen?
Yeah, I believe, yeah, that she's probably destined to be one of the top tier floor masters. And Alfie, calm down. This is my opinion, so you shush, yeah. I believe, yeah, that she did things very well in the first chapter. Think of it this way: she called Kana a sister killer, and that made her go into a sort of like, what is it, character development, that sort of stuff. That's kind of where it came from, yeah. What did she also do? She also, my brain's gone blank, but that doesn't mean she's bad. Trust me, guys. Trust me. All right. So she gives us the roster papers. So in the second chapter,
Yeah,
the
she
only
does.
reason we find out the transgression is thanks to her. She's actually helped us there, which
Okay.
means she's the only floor master that we can somewhat trust. Do you know what I'm saying? When we looked for Ginebusha on the first floor when it was dark, she was talking to someone. And Alfie, correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, but I'm pretty sure she was talking about something against the organization's death
Yeah,
game.
it's like, oh, if these end up in, if that chip from Ranger's head ends up in the wrong hands, then things will get very interesting.
Which means, yeah, she's really good, and the person she's talking to, which we don't end up seeing because the door's too fat and it blocks half the screen, yeah. So if like she's really good, the person she's talking to is really good, and I'm assuming we already know that person. Otherwise, it would have shown us the silhouette character. You know what I'm saying?
So where are you putting Miley then?
One more thing, I believe the beginning half of the game is scarier than the second half of the game only because there's nothing that the people can do against the floor masters in the first or second chapter. But in the third chapter, you're playing Tig with the guy, and like you start like even the second chapter, you have to find out a transgression that the floor masters did. It seems unprofessional. But the first chapter, you can't do anything. Once you find out Joe's the fucking sacrifice, and Kai's already been voted on that shit, yeah, you just have to watch. You know what I mean? In the second chapter, you could say it's the same, but So kind of takes off his fucking collar and goes, "All right, I'm off." You know how like that's just a little scary. You know what I mean? The first chapter had a feel to it that no other chapter will have, unless the last chapter gives us it back. That's what I believe.
So then where are you putting her?
I'm putting a top of Okie Dokie.
Really?
Yes, she goes top of Okie Dokie.
You know, I'm not going to argue with you about this because this is going to end up being over an hour. All right, your turn.
My turn. All right. Is it my turn?
I
I
don't know.
chose Superman.
All right then. Tell you what, this is looking quite bottom heavy at the minute, so you know I'm going to get another one out the way that I think we can both agree is a very good character. This one actually is controversial, though, you've seen. So I'm going to ask you to guess. Who do you think I'm going to pick?
Controversial.
That we both think is a very good character.
Qtaro.
Yeah, damn right. Explain to me why Qtaro's sick, you've seen.
Qtaro's sick, right? Because when he's in an argument and he takes off his hat,
No.
his IQ is through the fucking roof. Like, you could mug him off when he has his hat on, yeah? But if he's thought of something that he can absolutely end your career with, he can end your life with, he can put you in the hospital and make sure you don't make it out of the hospital, he will take his hat off. And then you should fear for your life. He's going to absolutely mug you off in a way you cannot do a rebuttal. You cannot. He's just insane. And also, right, first part of the game, fair enough. People didn't like him because he started going at the kids like, yo, we're not going to help you. If you can't defend yourself, we're going to vote for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if he's saying he's going to kill kids, obviously people are going to go, yo, Qtaro, you're being a bit unfair here. It's not quite nice. But it makes sense. He's in a death game. Why should they protect the kids that don't contribute anything? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, that does sound bad. But in a death game perspective, it makes sense. And second chapter, he kind of starts firing
He
down.
fumbles the bag.
He's kind of down bad in chapter 2. He kind of like gets tased in a chair, and then he begs So for help. And then, actually, no, he was down bad, but then he teamed up with KG, best duo in the game. KG and fucking Qtaro. They absolutely corner So, and I think that's the reason So was in the final vote.
No, to be fair, he mugged them
Gave
off
us
in return.
true, but I think with
It,
KG
it
and
was a
Qtaro,
top tier play if Qtaro didn't get tased.
yeah, true. But Kyutaro and Keiji, what they did to So, I'm pretty sure that's the reason he was in the final vote, which gave us Kana versus So as a choice. I think, fam, the third chapter as well, you know. Like,
The
he
third
gets stabbed in the
chapter,
back, yeah?
especially
Yeah,
part 2.
bruh. Third chapter, yeah? He gets stabbed by Mai Sarugi. We'll get to her when we pick her, yeah? And instead of freaking out and shit, knocking her out. I think he has to knock her out. Instead of freaking out, he knocks her out, yeah? And then reunites the dummies with the fucking, candidates. I believe, yeah, that is some, like, he's got a high level of speeching, bro. And he was speaking from the heart, bro. I could have cried. I could have
He
cried.
did in that scene, remember?
He did. He did.
Now we've got to
Bruh.
talk. You can't talk about Kyutaro without addressing the elephant in the room, Yaseen. Why don't you talk about the banquet?
Don't call him an elephant.
No. Why don't you talk about the banquet, Yaseen? The magnum
banquet,
opus of that character.
You're gonna have to explain to me what magnum opus.
It's like the most captivating moment. It's the prime
the
moment
most
of Kyutaro
captivating moment.
Burgerberg.
All right. So basically, he is in the banquet, right? And he's contributing in the conversations and stuff. And it turns out Keiji put Mishima's collar in one of the coffins. And then Keiji's about to get battered by Meister. He's about to get executed before it because apparently that's against the rules. Kyutaro goes, Keiji, there's no need. He takes off his arm. And I was like, wait a minute, what? He's been a doll this entire time. And then the doll Kyutaro tells us that Kyutaro was dying anyways because he got stabbed by Mai Sarugi. So he replaces himself with a doll, puts himself in the coffin. Does he get burnt? Does he get incinerated?
He does.
Yeah. So while he's dying, while he's wounded and shit, yeah, he put himself in a coffin to be burnt just to help us lot out in the banquet. And then Gin's there crying with Kyutaro. It's a very emotional scene. However, I could not voice the characters at that moment in time, so it was a bit dead. But if I voiced him properly, that would have been sick. So Kyutaro's like, don't worry, Gin. Don't worry. Gin's crying, yeah? And Kyutaro's eyes are suddenly fading to black. And then he runs out of charge. Best redemption arc I've ever seen in my life. Kyutaro went from a anti-kid to best character, best boy.
You really needed to avoid saying liking kids there, didn't you?
Huh?
How much did you try and avoid saying liking kids there?
I said he was a kid. I was about to say he's a kid killer.
Alright, so yeah, as much as you've said right now, I agree with most of that. The only thing else I would add to it is that during his last scene, alive, one of the things he mentions is he didn't turn nice or anything. It was his heart just giving in, which I like because it's not one of these cliche twists where all of a sudden he had a change of heart and then he became a really great guy. It was just that he couldn't be cutthroat anymore. I agree with everything Yaseen said. The character's phenomenal. I liked the guy before any of these. Oh, I know some of you lot, one of the 3 people watching this, even though 2 of them are probably going to be me and Yaseen, watching this was a Kyutaro hater before chapter 2, and all of a sudden they liked him the whole time when the end of chapter 3 came out. I wasn't on any of that. I liked him back in chapter 1. Don't at me. This guy is victory tier, but he's not as good as Alice.
I also liked him at the beginning because he made sense. People will go, wow, you're being tight. Well, clearly you've never been in a death game, so be quiet.
Alright, did I pick Kyutaro?
Yeah, you picked Kyutaro.
Right, go on. Yeah, pick.
You know, I'm gonna pick... I want to get him out of the way. I'm fucking sick and tired of seeing him. Give me Ranmaru. Give me him. Give me him right now. Okay.
I just want to... Wait, Yaseen, allow me to speak for about 10 seconds before I let you go on your rant.
Okay, go on.
So in my personal opinion, I would probably put him right here in my opinion. But here's the thing: Yaseen's about to slate him, and I'm not going to get to budge on this one. So go ahead, Yaseen, enjoy.
Before I slate him, I've only got one positive for him. When we're fighting one of the obstructors, he does a very good slide tackle. Well done. Now, you are the reason Alice Shabusame got hung in the 3rd chapter.
And
Was there
Reiko.
any need? No. And or Reiko. But obviously, I'm a bit more upset about Alice dying than Reiko, if I'm being honest. So, Ranmaru, I would love for you to explain to me why Sarah having a downward spiral justified you killing Alice. It fucking didn't. He survived the second chapter, yeah, and you come up and ruin everything. You put KG in a closet, so if you make him come out the closet, you know what? He's not gonna be socially accepted, bro. If you know, you know. But bro, he's so annoying. We give him an upgrade part on the arm, yeah. Man's got steam fingers. Man's got steam fingers. You know what he does with it? Doesn't he shock someone with steam
Yeah, he
fingers?
shocks
How is
KG with
that?
the finger.
Fucking shocks KG and then hides him away. The only reason that's good is because KG comes back in the banquet and seems very OP in what he did. But then, it's still not justifiable. You're annoying to look at. And even so, when you had your Super Saiyan moment, you get blown up by Midori. So, fuck you. You get messed up,
Well,
bro,
he doesn't
by
always get blown
Midori.
up by Midori. He can.
But if I'm playing the game, he's always going to get blown up because I
No.
want him to blow up.
Well, yeah. All right,
That's
fair
how
enough.
it
Fair
works.
enough.
Honestly, yeah. But you know, I've only just seen the tier you made. I appreciate it, Alfie. This fluffy motherfucker has got to go.
All right.
He's not as good as Joe. He's not as good as Joe.
If
And
if I
also,
let you keep
man's
going, we're
making
gonna be
moves.
here until like
No, no, no,
12.
no. Let me finish. Let me finish. I beg.
Fine, go
He's
on, go
not
on.
better than Joe. Joe's 500 times better than Ranmaru. And when Sarah's having a downward spiral, he's making moves on her. He's like, "Don't worry, babes. I'll sort him out. I'll get Qtaro. I'll get this guy. I'll get Alice. I'll get KG." It's a good thing Sarah snapped out of it because when he said KG, Sarah pushed him back like, "Yo, fuck you doing, bro? Get out of here. You know where the door is." And he fucking leaves. Honestly, right, this guy's making moves on someone that's down bad, and that makes him down bad. Ranmaru, you're so down bad. You're at the bottom of the tier list. I hope you enjoy your place of stay. Mic drop.
Okay, so I'm gonna get another quick one out of the way. Let's go with Kugi. I'm not gonna lie. Probably who even are you? Because all we know about her is anything through her. Can't really say too much about this character aside from clearly wanted the best for Kana, died way too early, and to be fair, I want to see an interaction between her and So at some point, but that ain't happening. Anything you want to say?
Mini episodes.
Oh
It
yeah, fair
could.
point.
However, it won't be canon because obviously she dies before So can meet her.
No, it might be
Or they
canon. Like
might
the
be
mini
before.
episodes might be before the game.
True. But you know what I'm thinking? Yeah, you know what I'm thinking? I actually prefer her design to Kana, which is why I wanted her to be Kana and not Kana to be Kana. And what ups her a little bit for me, just a tiny bit, is in the manga, there's a window between Sarah's first trial and her first trial. And you can see Kugi like reaching a hand out towards Sarah as she's watching, and she gets crushed in the bed. That image is fucking sick. It's absolutely amazing. Obviously, that's not in the game, so I will have to put her in Who Are You team as well.
Okay, so swiftly moving on. Yaseen, you want to pick another?
Okay, let's think. You know what? Ginabushi top tier. That's all I have to say.
If we're gonna talk about this now, I'll let you go first because I've got the more negative opinion.
Okay. Now, just to nullify what Alfie's going to say, he's going to say Ginibushi gets caught in every single trap known to man. However, look at Ginibushi. He's absolutely sick, and he's intelligent as fuck, you know. He's like, what is he, like 2.5 years old? And he's got more vocabulary than anyone I've ever known.
The
Like,
hell
bro,
do you
he's
mean?
just sick. What do you mean? What do you mean?
So I want to point out, yeah, him getting caught in every trap, fine, we can minus that point. I don't give a come about that one, right? But here's the thing, Gin Ibushi, you say he's intelligent, then why'd you only give him a 4 out of 10 on your intelligence top trump?
Because I had to make him fair, or else he would have been very OP.
The only
He
thing
is
you gave
intelligent.
him high in was, what actually was it?
Order of Death.
Oh, Order of
'cause
Death,
he's like,
and that's not even something he has in terms of attributes.
no,
That's just how he's got
no.
there due to luck. He had child
Think of it this way.
bias, should be dead, probably a traitor, and I'm not having it.
No, he's one of the best characters. And also, right, the reason I gave him a very low intelligence is because, yes, he is intelligent, but he hasn't actually done anything like noteworthy in the game yet. But I can tell he's intelligent. You know what I mean? I think they say, yeah, Qtaro taking his hat off and speaking to you, that's a 500,000 intelligence. But Bushi hasn't done that yet. However, when he speaks normally, he just has that intelligence. And also, yeah, when Sarah's down bad in the second chapter, yeah, and Ginibushi hugs her and goes, Sarah, snap out of it. Listen to the real Joe. Listen to the real Joe. Sarah snaps out of it. Ginibushi helped Sarah, bro. And Ginibushi is just one of my favorite characters. He's my bias. So
Okay,
people might think, seeing you chatting shit, yeah. No, no. He's my favorite character. I voice the character. He is the character that I think of when I hear the word "Your Turn to Die."
so here's the thing. As much as I agree that, if I'm being honest, he is a good character. He's very well written. I like how they dealt with the whole autism part of his backstory. They didn't just treat it like, oh, he has autism and never did anything with it. There is reasons for it. That's why he wears what he does and feels embarrassed when he doesn't.
Hmm.
Uh, and how he managed to come into contact with Midori in the first place. That's all very good. But the problem is, throughout the game, I think you can agree with me when I say this, Yaseen. In the first chapter,
Hmm.
he did basically nothing, right? Aside
Yes.
from make friendships and start calling everybody brother and sister, right?
Yeah.
The main reason that even started was because of Mishima, not because of Gin.
Yeah.
Following that, it gets to the point of the first main game where he gets called out for obviously lying, where he shows that he did the scraps of paper, right? He
Yeah.
rearranged the scraps of paper. I don't care how you try and justify that. Trying to make those scraps of paper after they've gone through a shredder should not be possible. But we'll allow that
But he
one.
did it.
Moving up. Yeah,
He did.
we'll allow it. Moving on, moving on.
And
We
if you're
get
gonna
to
go with him being silent in the first main
no,
game,
no. I'm not saying that's a
he didn't
negative.
want
I'm
people to
not saying
know
that's
that
a
Sarah
negative.
was a murderer.
No, no. I'm not saying that was a negative. I'm just saying
Okay.
he was getting called out for being silent in the first main game, and that's when he revealed the paper thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we get to chapter 2, right?
Yeah.
So realistically, his main bond with a person in this entire game is undoubtedly Sarah, right?
Yeah.
So then, why is she one of the few people he chooses to keep secrets from?
What secrets?
What he was doing on the first floor? Why did he keep that from her?
I mean, did we ask him?
Yes, several times.
But it's
He said in the second main game that doesn't matter right now. When it was the only question he was asked.
okay. I don't remember that. But if he did say that, then respects to him. He has his
Furthermore,
own
I
secret.
understand he's a kid and the kid doesn't like gambling, but the whole
Yeah.
thing where Kyutaro got shit because Kyutaro won a game and Gin lost it, I'm not having that one.
I'm not giving Kyutaro shit for that. I actually think he played that game very well, except from the lack of knowledge in terms of what was going to happen with first place and last
Yeah,
place.
like don't get me wrong,
Uh,
Gin did not deserve to get shot with scorpion stingers. Don't don't mix it up, right? But at the same time, if you're in a death game and you're given a sub game, right? Your
yeah,
intention with that sub game is to win the sub game or do well in it. You should know that it
yeah,
could be at risk of death because the last sub game was get the parts for Miley, and the moment Miley was arranged, look what happened: Mishima dead. So the moment they
yeah.
mention it's a sub game, Gin chose to not participate in the sub game, which okay, child, but still didn't participate. And we get to the third chapter, right? How many times, Yassine, would you say this character Gin has seen other people die and been really hurt by it?
How many times has he been hurt by his
Mishima,
death?
he was hurt by.
Yeah,
Joe, I doubt. I don't think you were that hurt. I think you were a bit
I
like
don't.
you were a
I don't
bit.
think we got shot in by it
No. If we move on.
as well.
So him, right?
Yeah,
Then through every single doll death that he witnesses, he cries, right?
yeah,
So even if we exclude Mishima, he sees loads of people die, and at that point, you can tell how much he values life, right?
yeah.
So then, why the moment Midori asks for a challenge, no, Meister asks for a challenger, does he run into that bloody coffin?
Probably because he really does like feel bonded with Sarah, and
Yeah,
he did not
but
want
here's the
Sarah to
thing.
go.
He didn't know, regardless what that was going to do. Running into there, right, after every single trap he's already ran into, just contradicts the whole point of him saying he's going to be wary of traps, only to run into a trap. It worked out, but it worked out not because of him, because of everyone else's efforts. In my opinion, he's a character that does a lot of things right, but then a lot of things to go back every step he's made along the way. Which is why, in my opinion, even though Yassine says victory tier, I would probably put him beneath Joe. And that might be quite harsh, but I'm not really the biggest fan. Though
I'm
probably
only
to
accepting candidates here.
no,
Always.
yeah, we're gonna say to balance it, we'll put him candidate tier. I'm gonna get flamed. All right, next one, Mr. Chidoin.
I
No,
mean, people
no,
already get
enough
the
said.
dot line.
Don't worry, that's an inside joke. So
Yeah.
don't really know much about him aside from the fact he might be Meister. Seems a bit overprotective. Adopted Sarah, had a bit of a friendly interaction with Kai. Said thank yous a million on a message, and that's about all we know of him. So I don't think we can say too much more.
I think until we get more information, he stays exactly where he is.
Soon, you wanna pick another?
Pick up another. All right. You know, Kai Sato. Let's bring out Sato Kai. Now, I believe, yeah, this character was destined for greatness, but they killed him off in the first chapter. But then, to be fair though, if he was still alive, he probably would have explained everything like once there were suspicions. But because he wasn't there, the lack of his presence, we had to interpret what everything on his laptop meant, which kind of makes the story what it is. If he just told us what everything was, yeah, literally half of chapter 2 would be irrelevant. That's what I'm thinking. Now, also, Kai being, homemaker and cook, but also an assassin that was there to protect Sarah Chidoin, and he tried his best to protect Sarah Chidoin, and he gets mugged off by Mr. Chidoin. Is it Mr. Chidoin? He said thank you a million, didn't he?
Well,
Or was it the
someone at the
organization?
very least, somebody using his email.
Somebody using his email mugged him off, and went, "Well, what you've just said is actually the keywords to start the death game. We're gonna go pick up Sarah Chidoin, thank you." And then he runs all the way to get Sarah Chidoin to not go home because that's where she's gonna get kidnapped. She doesn't listen to him, so he actually works very hard to protect Sarah Chidoin. I really like his character. I believe he's in candidate tier, at least.
I would put him beneath Gin.
I'll
Because
allow it.
because here's the thing, right? With Kai specifically, most of the things that are to do with him happen after he died, right?
Yeah.
People that have been penalized for that already has been Joe. People that have been penalized that already has been Anzu. Anzu can die like literally 2 seconds into the fucking time where you meet her, so she's there. The whole point of him only being here is that he wasn't around for long enough. And obviously, as you said, that's because he would have revealed more than we were probably supposed to know due to working with the organization. But I think him dying in the first chapter was a perfect opportunity to introduce his dad in the second chapter.
True. True.
I don't really have too
It
much
would
more to
be
say than
so
what you already said about him.
You know how sick it would have been for Kai to have beef with his dad. That would have been sick. Like, imagine Gashu spills up on a word, yeah. He accidentally reveals something. No one catches it, but Kai Sato catches it, and he eyes his dad in the face, and his dad's are like, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!" And Kai's are like, "You fucked up." That would be sick.
So here's the thing you've seen, right?
Hmm.
We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 characters left. We've just hit the hour mark, so we're going to speed things up a little bit, alright? Because I'm conscious this is going to take a bit too long. So we'll get
Yeah.
Maple out the way next.
Maple is a very emotional character. She does get transformed into a killer robot, but then blows up because she's out of charge or something daft like that. I like the bit where obviously she's programmed to love Midori because that's all she can think about, which is the reason why we have the boss fights we do. And then when she tries fighting Midori, Midori tries to manipulate her and be like, "I love you, babes." She's like, "Nah." She tries slicing him, but then obviously I don't know how she blows up. I don't remember.
It depends, there's two ways. Either she runs out of battery right as she's about to slice him, or Ranmaru electric shocks her.
Ranmaru shocks her.
Yeah,
The evil one.
if he's still alive at that point.
Is it the evil one?
Yeah, in the evil route, he shocks her, and then she blows up.
Do you know? Make a tier below Yaseen hates you and call it Ranmaru.
No, I'm not making any more tiers. There's too many.
Okay.
So where you putting Maple?
I believe she can go bottom of Okie Dokie.
You know, I agree with that. Alright, yeah, go and pick another one.
Alright, you know what, yeah? I'm gonna pick out Keiji Shinogi. Now, since the start of the game, Keiji Shinogi was the alpha. Introduction stage, he's like, "Alright guys, I'm Keiji Shinogi, I'm a police officer." And he's like, "Okay, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? Nice to meet you." And he's kind of the glue that holds everyone together. And when there's a certain situation where we need someone to clutch the fuck up, Keiji Shinogi's there. There probably isn't a moment where he hasn't clutched up. Literally, that point alone.
Well, I think there is.
Oh, what?
When he gets mugged off into the coffin.
Oh yeah, true. But obviously that's
That
the
was
first
that was a
time
fat L.
that was a foul. However, no, because you win or lose, like he still falls into the coffin or gets pushed into the coffin. But what I believe yeah, is that's the first time we see anything proper traumatizing from his past and him
Yeah.
reacting to it, which kind of redeems that. It gives him a bit more character as well.
Yeah, like a very good character. Shows a lot of things throughout the game. Usually the discreet one, usually the quiet one, usually the mysterious one. The more you learn, the more you question him. And even going into the last chapter, he's still suspicious because he's the only character whose wishes you don't know what it was.
Yeah,
We've obviously got our theories about him, but I'm going to leave that for. Actually, to be fair, Yaseen, do you reckon a theories video is a good idea?
true. A
We'll,
theories video is
we'll,
good.
we'll leave
So
it for some kind of video like that. But for now, he's a very good character, very interesting
yeah,
character, and a character that always, no matter what the situation is, manages to provide entertainment and good content for everyone playing, watching, and reacting to seeing this guy do things in the game. There is no other character other than maybe the one to his left that you can say is more engaging in this story.
can I just say right? When you load up the game, yeah, it starts off with hands behind Sarah's head, and you think they're kidnapper hands. But then when he shows up in the banquet, you see the hands moving towards Sarah's head, and it's fucking Keiji Shinogi. He's not a kidnapper.
Yeah,
He just came through with a
that
fucking
scene
W.
was great.
It was a sick throwback, and he fucking did a madness.
But the question is, Yaseen, where are you putting him in
Victory.
victory?
Where am I putting him in victory? I'll probably put him beneath Qtaro for now, but final chapter is probably gonna allow
Well,
him to
I would
be
have put him
above.
above Qtaro. I'd probably put him the best in this one, but I can settle with this for now. Okay, so let's get Gashu out the way. I'm gonna be straight up. He ain't better than his son. Would you
He's
say?
probably like, if I'm gonna be honest, he's probably is he the most boring? He's not the most boring because second chapter,
No, I think
like,
he is.
there's a lot of things that fall apart
Thing is,
with the organization's
thing
plans,
is,
but
he
he's like
he's the
doing all
most
this shit.
boring, but he keeps the game together just.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
if we're being honest, like his motivations are very interesting with him being the researcher into emotions. The whole experiment with Ranger being his idea and him telling Safari what to do during certain parts of it. His willingness to die for the organization, and he probably sticks to the rules better than Meister's probably going to, if we're being honest. Because
If he's still
Meister
alive,
seems
yeah, he
that
definitely would have come back.
powerful. Yeah, Meister
Yeah.
seems like he's that powerful that he'll just bin off some of the rules because he can. Whereas
Yeah.
Gashu wasn't as powerful, but literally shot himself in the head to kill her and to go on with the game as he wanted to, due to obviously switching up the sacrifice role from Kana to now. So, in my opinion,
There's
I'd probably say somewhere in there.
there's one thing, yeah. I believe that with all the transgression and all that shit, yeah, all that like talk in the second main game. I believe that wasn't them messing up. That was actually what they wanted us to talk about. They wanted us to believe that they fucked up. And Gasu's job was to carry that on and kill himself to make it that more believable. That there's a chance that they could escape using all that shit. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense, yeah, but obviously
Because obviously,
there are question
because
marks with that idea, but obviously we don't have all day.
what I'm saying is, yeah, it doesn't make sense that he goes, "I have a color too. I'm also trapped here," and then he kills himself. It makes it more believable that it was actually part of the plan to make us think that everything was falling apart.
All right. So where do you want him to go?
Where do you want him to go? If I'm being honest, I'll go bottom of Okie Dokie
All right. Yeah. Your turn.
to live. Let's
We
go.
we've left quite a few good ones.
Yeah, no. Let's go my Tsurugi.
Go on.
Now, my Tsurugi is the reason that Kyutaro is pretty much dead, right? Which obviously makes sense that she's in the bottom of bottom tiers. However, that aside, she's a really likable character. Like, I don't know what it is, she's just a likable character.
It's
So,
alright. It's alright.
I'll put her in Okie Dokie. That's about it.
Now, bro, if she's going in there, she's going bottom.
I mean, the only thing I can remember in terms of relevance is that she has Midori's hand. which is the reason why her fingerprint thing worked. And it raises up the argument of if you're part human and part doll, then are you human or doll? That's like
Very philosophical, but it's nothing to do with her. You get me?
it's got nothing to do with her, but that's the only thing I can remember
I
about
would,
her
yeah, I'd
in
probably
terms of
say here,
yeah.
like, if it, I'm
Uh,
gonna be
uh,
honest, if it was up to me, I would probably put her about here. But
I'd say above no. I'd say above no.
okay, fine. Go away now. Don't like you. All right. Let's get the last dummy out the way. Other than it, am I a dummy or
Dummy
am I
thingy.
not? Even though the body can be used as a majority vote. All right. Let's get Kurumada out the way. So Kurumada, obviously, probably the most standoffish doll the whole time. But obviously, he goes through the whole arc of learns to appreciate life, learns to appreciate the people, well, mainly the dolls, and Kana on the route where she's paired with him. Shows, to be fair though, his death scene was very good. The one where not the one where he just dies in the
Guess yeah.
banquet. That's shit. But the one in the coffin room just before the banquet where Reiko starts singing, then he passes out permanently, closing his eyes, smiling, knowing that the dummies have a good chance of surviving the banquet before he knew anything about it and knew that they were basically all going to die, except from one of them, which he can actually be the one that survives, which I'm happy about. And he was in my rap, obviously. In the rap with these, like, happened to be a certain bread maker.
That's really good.
Go on, Yaseen. I know you have a lot
Uh,
more to say about the character than I do.
so I vote Kurumada. He has like this American accent. I don't know why. He just does. So he's probably top dummy. Absolutely top dummy. Like he sees the other dummies
I
as
would agree.
family, which is what I think other people wouldn't have. Like other dummies wouldn't have. Like he actually cares for the other dummies. He might seem like he's like harsh and shit, but he does that for a reason. He's actually spitting facts most of the time. You
Jesus,
know
we
what I mean?
we put the dolls very low generally.
Yeah, no, but they're not really as good as the main characters. If I'm
Okay,
being
yeah,
honest, like
fair.
Kurumada probably is a contender for that though. He actually is one of the top ones.
All right then. What do you think?
Um, there's also another thing. Doesn't he come forward and be like, Ranmaru, you've done something, you bastard.
Yeah, he grabs
Guys,
Ranmaru and he's like, "Well, you lot go to the fucking locker room quick," and then it seems they just decided
like,
to take their time, and then you walk in there, you just get Alice feet pics.
yeah, so basically, I hate Ranmaru for killing Alice, but the fact that Kurumada went, Ranmaru's done something dodgy, guys, go check it out. I actually appreciate that from Kurumada.
He
I
made an
reckon
effort.
he's, I reckon he's in candidate tier.
You know what? I'll give him it. Now you're seeing. I think we know which character we're going to be talking about next year.
Reiko Yabu-sama, it's easiest.
Okay, so I'll get this one started off. Not the most crazy about this character, but to be honest, out of all the characters, this character is the one that screams meh to me the most because sure, she's interesting, but I think she's the worst of the Yabusames. Not really as she's helpful, except from not helpful at the same time. Kind of like now, but better in the sense that she will also go, Sarah, what the hell do we do? And then occasionally she'll be like, oh, but what if So did this? And because she's always on about So, she has to be right a couple of the times. Even if she always blames him, that means some of the time she's definitely right. Because So does do some things wrong, believe it or not, even though he's an absolutely precious beanie child, as everyone seems to call him. Isn't that right, Yaseen?
She
Never did anything wrong.
never did anything wrong.
So yeah, I would probably say beneath Mishima, but that's up to you to clarify on Yaseen as to what you think.
All I can remember from Reiko is kind of pisses herself. She goes, Sarah, get me some clothes. Kyutara says something about the kids, and she goes, why are you going against kids? Yeah, which isn't really helpful. She, in the second chapter goes, I am the eldest. Sarah, stop helping out. I want to help out. And then gets kidnapped, and then we get fake Reiko. Which I think Fake Reiko actually gave us more than she did, right? Because Fake Reiko actually we had a war of words with Fake Reiko, not Reiko. That's saying something. That Fake Reiko is, and plus Fake Reiko stabs Reiko, which means Fake Reiko still does more than Reiko. If Fake Reiko exists, Reiko's shit. You know what I'm saying? Like without Reiko, yeah, you can't have the brother and sister thing with Alice. but that's pretty much it. Without her, there's no Alice.
It does kind of suck that I feel that the intended route is for Alice to die instead of Reiko.
No, I think yeah, the intended route is so Alice. Now my reason is yeah, is when Now dies, you see a little scene of her painting a picture of Mishima, and if Reiko dies after her, actually no, if Reiko dies in that scene, then Reiko's with Now painting Mishima. But if Alice dies, he's not there. I think the canon route is Alice lives, and I think the canon route is So lives as well because he has to do something at the end. If Kana lives, then there's no good ending because Kana's just there. Where So is actually going to batter Sarah at the end.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking
That does make sense.
here. Where are you thinking?
If you put, I can't see her. Yeah, she goes in there. She's
All
not even
right,
as good as
so now
Misha.
which of the big three do you want to talk about next? I say we get Midori out the way.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, this is probably one of my favorite characters out of the entire thing. Yaseen already knows this, but this character is behind so many things, and the reasons for why he's behind it, how he's done it, and the things that he's going to do and has done with the organization are that fucked up, but they all work in some way. Everything he does is generally quite coherent, aside from the parts where it's like, oh, my body is 50%, 50%. So how do you know which one I am on the button when you press the lampshade? That were a
I
bit
gave you
just yeah,
compromise.
and that, but yeah, that was a bit stupid. Overall, though, I think he's a character with very good motivations, in my opinion. Easily the best Floor Master. I don't think Meister's going to even come close to doing better than Midori did. Even though Midori was around for significantly less, and I was saying before that one chapter hinders you a lot, I don't think it does with him. Because chapter 1, part A, wasn't so much on Midori as much as it was other dolls. But B, you cannot tell me that entire chapter was not dedicated to showing you how fucked up that guy was and how good he is of an antagonist in this game. You seen?
That is very true. I like how he was supposed to be a part of the death game as a candidate, yeah. But then he gets killed by Alice, and because of that, he becomes a floor master. And I think that he wanted to be a part of the death game, which would have been weird considering everyone else wouldn't have
Yeah,
known
he
about the
did.
death. But he wanted to be a part of the death game, which means he lives for the thrill. But then when he's about to die in the third chapter, he finds out how scary dying really is. I think I like that. That
No,
after showing how crazy he is throughout the entire chapter just shows that you know what I mean. He is all that, but it shows that he isn't as that as he was. You know.
you've had a stinker there.
No, you know what I mean. He's not as that as he's saying he
No,
is,
I
but
get
he's
you.
still that.
I get you. But where do you think we put him? I think he's victory.
For now, he's victory because we have to at least put one flower master up there, even though like it's justified.
I would put him
Um,
here though. Well, because these two are here, I wouldn't put him above KG, but that means I can't put him above these either.
yeah. Final chapter though. If Meister does a madness, and if he is worthy of victory, we're gonna have to put Midori down in candidate tier. I believe that's only fair.
Yeah, fair. I reckon we talk about Sarah next.
Sarah Chidoin.
Save the poster boy of the series until last.
If I'm being honest, yeah, I think she really does get shit on by being the main character because it makes her seem like she has a lack of character compared to others. She just
Yeah,
seems like
like you don't even
just
see her sprites until like the third chapter.
like think of it this way: like non-playable characters, they get voice lines and shit. They get like character, whereas the playable character, you just move about and do your own thing. You know what I mean? That's just the way I see Sarah. But if you think of it from a story type of view, yeah, she is actually sick. Like everyone trusts her. Like she has to think of everything.
Yeah, everyone trusts her.
In terms of the death game, she probably is one of the smartest, if not
Yeah,
the smartest. Only because she's the main character. She has to like bring up everything.
yeah, you have to push the plot with that character. But here's the thing: where would you put a character like that? All right.
I can't. No, I put her in Okidoki. If I'm being honest, character-wise,
Yeah, she does suffer a lot from protagonist syndrome, but like,
I can't put her with Kurumada, Kai, and Gin. You know what I mean? And
no.
just the normal characters up there.
And now we have
Sheeny Weenie.
Shinzukini. Do you want to go
No,
first, or do you want me to?
I'll let you go last because you absolutely love this character. And I will admit, he was a dickhead at first. But then when you see his reasonings for becoming a dickhead, he had to ditch himself, like his true identity, because his survival rate was zero. like his first trial is Sue Miley telling him he's not gonna make it out of this death game alive. Now, the fact that he was a dickhead and there's a reason for it shows that he's not actually a dickhead and he's actually a really good character. Because obviously, why wouldn't you act differently if you're destined to die? And also the fact that Kana's his sister, and that's the reason he wants us to vote him instead of Kana, shows that he's not selfish. It shows that he actually cares for another character. You know what I mean? Now, if you think about other characters, yeah, I don't think there's anyone so actually feels connected with that much compared to Kana. That's his biological sister. So I think To's a gangster. So actually, like, think of it this way: he got teamed on by KG and Kyutaro and managed to turn it back around on them. There's not another character that could do that. So I believe he is in victory tier.
Is that
I'll
where
let
you're gonna
Alfie
leave it
speak.
off?
I'll let Alfie speak, and I'll let him choose where exactly he is in victory tier.
Okay, so obviously, this was a character that when I did the run-throughs with my friends and all that, obviously, I had to make sure that I voiced this character. Not because my voice is good for this character, but because the character's just sick on his own. So, you start the game, and the first thing you see in that entire game is, hey, do you know what a majority vote is? And the whole point of that scene is to set him up to be somebody that you recognize from the silhouette alone as somebody that's going to be problematic. Problematic he is throughout the entire game without question. However, you get through the first chapter, you're like, oh, he's a nice guy. But if you remember the first part, you're like, but he's going to do something because he's that dickhead. You know the snap's coming. Well, not necessarily the snap that he's going to do something. Things get more suspicious as the chapter goes on, with him talking about the gun, wanting to take the gun from you, and then telling you not to be an idiot if you're going to give him the gun. Then wondering if you saw the sacrifice card from him when he's been knocked out under the thing, him finding the laptop, him getting the laptop stolen from him, and then you get to the first main game where everyone starts being suspicious of him as opposed to Sarah. He at this point knows that Sarah's the highest percentage, and the whole point of pairing up with her was to find out why that percentage was. He found out that reason was because she could very easily gain people's trust and saw that as manipulative. When he sees the things on the laptop with all the emails and that, and I'm not giving like a word PowerPoint presentation here, but I have to because he's a sick character. I'm not having it be said any otherwise. He sees that her and our friend have been secured for the death game. Now, why would it say that and not mention any names of other people in the thing? So obviously suspicious. Then you have the war of words with him. You have the snap, and then you have So in that first trial, showing why the game is going to be as good as it is, because his opposing of your character, in combination with how well they managed to balance everyone's scenes within the main games, is really good. Get past that, he survives. And then you get to the second chapter where he does a lot of things throughout the thing, which is both good and bad, helps you a bit. You get to see both sides of his character. And then you get to the main game where you find out he's been faking his identity, as Yaseen said, because he has 0% chance of surviving. Yaseen also said because he has 0% chance of surviving, why wouldn't he act differently? And by adopting a personality of somebody that was cutthroat, malicious, devious, despicable as Midori, he tried to survive through that way. If you choose to kill him over Kana, then it becomes a thing of he's going to fuck you over in the end. You go through the third chapter and he kind of goes under the radar a bit because obviously you got to deal with the bigger threat, which is Midori. How are you going to deal with So, who is trying to be Midori, and think he's going to be anywhere near as bad as the actual Midori? But he still survives. There's got to be obviously a route where he's going to survive because the 0% chance character surviving is just going to be some kind of ending. Whereas if you go and kill him back in the corner route, his death felt to me like they made it that beneficial in terms of he dies, you get reconciliation to a degree, and then you get the whole thing where you get the reveal between Kana being his sister, and then you get the whole Joy Eye helping Sarah become stronger. In the end, all you really find out is that his death was a very important thing for her to move on. However, I think that depending on your route, he can go one of two ways. He can go either into a character you think, you know what, his reasons were all right. He was a bit of a dickhead, but in the end, he was a good person, just forced to do bad by the game. Or you're going to see in the probably what's going to come out whenever the last chapter does come out, hopefully sometime soon, but who knows at the time of recording this. It's the 7th of January, so yeah, that could age horribly, or it could age very well. The character as a whole is just incredible, magnifique, as they would say in I think that's French, and yeah. Now we have the part where we've got to put him somewhere in victory tier. Now here's the thing, I would put him probably as, in my opinion, the best character, but I don't believe that'll be the same for you, right, Yaseen?
Well, think about it this way. I think the top two. that are there now is Alice and Kyutaro. I'll allow him to go beneath Alice.
Well, you know what? That's what I'm gonna take then. And are we happy with this list, Yaseen?
I'm not happy with Ranmaru. I think he should just not be on the tier list. Drag him down. Drag him down. Just take him off. He's still there, bro. He's still got a faded face.
That's not
He's
fair.
still he's so smelly. He left an imprint on the bottom tier.
Okay, so here's the thing. We finished the list. Yaseen, I want you to, before we end the video, give one prediction as to when the exact date of the third chapter will come out.
Well, I mean, he's gonna release mini episodes, and I will, in January sometime. So I believe it's probably in February or March, and 30 days of September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31, except February alone. What's the last day of fucking February?
29th, 28th, depending if it's leap year.
I'm going. It's not leap year, so I'm gonna say yeah, it's 28th of February. That's when it's gonna get released. Last day of February. I
And on
think
that,
it's on between February and March.
and on that note, that will conclude the tier list. This has been a video that has gone on for, oh my god, an hour and 21 at the point where I've just paused this. It's going to be a very long upload, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. Obviously, if you see anything and you want to talk to either me or Yaseen about the opinions that we put in this list, put it down in the comments below, or one of you watching. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next Your Turn to Die video. Yaseen, do you want to say anything else?
Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and let all the other Your Turn to Die content creators know that we exist. Goodbye.